Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on what part of the world you are watching us from. I am the president of No Worker Left Behind, and I'm thrilled and excited to welcome each one of you to this pivotal conference on rethinking work. I'm excited to have participants join us from 25 plus countries and 50 plus cities across the world. And I feel like this perspective that you bring, this diversity that we have is crucial as we are trying to tackle the challenges around rethinking work. This diversity is not just our strength, it is our guiding star. Before we get started, let's talk about the importance of this day, May 1st. This is an International Labor Day across the globe. And on this day, we celebrate contributions and achievements of workers and their ongoing struggles for fair labor practices and rights. It is this day which is the heart of our conference. We are advocating for rights and well-being of our workers. And as we are thinking about rethinking work, we want to make sure that we can empower and uplift every worker. And our ethos is guided by this day. So it's not just the future of work, but on how we make this inclusive, supportive for everyone. Before we get started, let's talk a little bit about my own personal journey, which led to the creation of No Worker Left Behind. With over 20 plus years of corporate experience and climbing the corporate ladder, I got access and exposure to glamorous and strategic roles. I was deeply immersed in discussions on future of work, technologies, and artificial intelligence. As a software engineer myself, I saw firsthand how rapidly technology was evolving and realized that it is leaving a lot of people behind. As my roles in employee resource groups, being sponsors of them, I was able to help and support people in their career journeys. But I realized that a lot of people outside the organizations do not have that kind of support. Those were some of the reasons where it felt like that these large organizations as well as people outside need a lot more support. And this is a huge gap that No Worker Left Behind is trying to solve at this point in time. So before, as we keep going, I want to tell another story about the collaboration, the power of hope. It's a worker story, which many of you are aware of, but there are aspects in the story which you might not have known earlier. So we all talk about the biggest challenge in the worker history around the Great Depression. It was the economic downturn when millions of people across the world lost their livelihood and were struggling. Their families, their people did not have a job and they did not have shelter, food on the table. And at that very difficult time, all the communities came together to help each other. There were food shelters, there were support that was provided to people. But one of the most important things that happened during that time, which people don't know, is how when everyone came together, we were able to make some very strong systemic changes. Systemic changes like setting up of the unemployment offices, which was not just an administrative building. It became a beacon of hope for people. We set up the social security net. There was strengthening of labor laws that happened. And this changed our future forever. This incident explains the power of collective action and collaboration. When government, businesses, communities, everyone came together to solve this issue at hand. We strive not just for recovery, but for renaissance. Innovation was there. There was economic resilience. There was employment support. So as we fast forward to today, and let's look at the work landscape that's evolving here, we are seeing large global challenges. We are hearing about layoffs and automation. As technology evolves, jobs are getting automated. And traditional roles are getting eliminated, new ones are getting created. But there is this gap in terms of how do we move and transition people from these old roles and upskill them to the new roles. We are seeing a ton of productivity enhancements, which is really, really good. But there is a question about the balance between human labor and machines. We are thinking about jobs landscape uncertainty. People are worried about their jobs. And as they are trying to figure out how to get to the next role, the jobs are changing faster. Leaders, when I speak with leaders, they are grappling with critical questions. And whether it's a leader of a corporation or leader of a nonprofit, they're thinking about the gap between skilled and unskilled. They're thinking about what measures can we put in place so we can expedite people into these new roles in a more smooth way. They're thinking about ethical considerations of AI in hiring and workplace monitoring. And they're thinking about human-centric values in a digitally dominated workplace. As these questions are becoming more and more important, no single entity can answer them or can tackle them. These questions are complex in nature, and we need a collaborative approach, diverse voices on the table to make sure we forge solutions which are impactful and sustainable. So you might be thinking about why we call the conference Rethinking Work. So as our friend Simon Sinek always says, start with why. And as we were thinking about this year's theme, No Worker and WorkCongress is a relatively newer organization as compared to the history we've been through. And we were thinking about what is the most important thing that we can tackle now. And this is just the beginning of the journey. So rethinking work is really important because it is calling upon the urgency of the times today. It is work needs to be productive, but also needs to be sustainable and just. So as we were thinking about the aspects of work that are getting challenged all the time, we want to make sure work gets its due attention. And we need to not just think about work in a silo. We have to think about it holistically. We have to think about various aspects of work. We have to think about various stakeholders who are involved. A job seeker has a different perspective, or someone who's later in their age and trying to reskill has a very different perspective on work than a government official who's trying to make sure people have a job. It's a very different set of lens that a corporate leader has who's trying to improvise productivity and think about the well-being of their people. So as you try to bring all of these perspectives together, we need to have a systemic approach to solve these challenges. And we need to elevate these discussions at the right level where we can hear from multiple people, groups, and be innovative and creative as we come up with these solutions. So the role for today is not to solve all of these things. The role is to hear all of these conversations today, hear from the best of the speakers that we have, and hear the novel approaches that are happening in the work landscape, and then figure out how do we define work in different ways. So when I think about, I don't want to spend a little bit of time talking about No Worker Left Behind and our mission and how the Work Congress and rethinking work entails with what we are trying to do. We want to make sure that rethinking work and Work Congress is connected with the broader work No Worker Left Behind does, and it's connected with the ethos that we have. So No Worker Left Behind focuses on advocacy, focuses on education, policy making to make sure that the overall work environment is inclusive and equitable. So as we embark on the rich agenda that we have today, WorkCongress is the think tank that is part of No Worker Left Behind. And its pivotal role is to elevate these conversations with the right leaders and to actively shape these dynamics, the policy advocacy and strategic dialogues. No Worker also does community support and also does education and reskilling. In terms of community support, we leverage technology and we are able to support people with online job fairs, online career and networking events. And we are trying to do that on a global scale in a very scalable way. And the upskilling part is where we are trying to help people ensure that they're able to get to the next level in their career and explore their complete potential. So, what should attendees expect to get out of this conference? Attendees should expect to leave this conference with a deeper understanding of the complex nature that interplays and what it means for future of work. You will gain insights from leading experts in their fields. And our lineup are very exciting and great in terms of the kind of topics we are trying to cover. We'll talk about innovative practices at work. We will talk about various business models that are coming up. We will talk about what it means to be the next stage worker and how organizations should be thinking about well-being and belonging. So all of those hopefully would be takeaways wherein you can act on some of those things and think through some of those things for the future. But most importantly, this is just the beginning of an ongoing dialogue for this year. No Worker Left Behind and WorkCongress would be setting up more of these conversations in the future. And if you are interested, if you are excited about this, we would love to partner with you. We would love to explore these things with you further. We would love to hear from you. And you can reach out to us at info@No Worker Left Behind. With that, I would like to play a video right now to really talk about our lineup for the day today and to acknowledge our esteemed guest. I just want to call out one thing here. Since this was the very first time when we were doing this conference, it was difficult for us to not have any street cred and to be able to pull such a lineup of speakers together. And I want to thank the speakers from my heart because they believed in the vision, they believed in the organization, they believed in the importance of the topic around rethinking work and the future of work, that they agreed to show up, they agreed to come and talk to us today about this very important topic. So before I go ahead with the next few comments, I'm going to just play a quick video so that you can look at the speaker lineup.
Welcome to WorkCongress 2024, the premier virtual event reimagining the world of work. This year's theme, Rethinking Work, brings together thought leaders, innovators, and policymakers to explore bold, trillion-dollar ideas for the next billion people. Hosted by No Worker Left Behind, Inc., this conference is a global think tank uniting minds across the world to elevate the conversation on work. Kicking off the event, Deeksha Joshi, president of No Worker Left Behind, sets the stage for a new paradigm of inclusivity and sustainability. As we journey through 5 key tracks: innovation, future of work, learning and development, wellness, policies and governance, and workspace innovation, our speakers share insights and strategies to reshape the world of work. Hear from Vishal Kumar, CEO of Tao.ai, on redefining what it means to be a worker in an era of technological disruption and social shifts. Explore how worker voices are gaining power in the digital age with Solange Karas and Stella Lupashore. Delve into sensory processing, cognitive well-being, and neuro-inclusion with Kay Sargent, Director of Thought Leadership at Interiors, as she discusses how designing for inclusion benefits all. From entrepreneurship and spin-out ventures to reimagining the workplace through collective genius, our expert speakers guide us through building adaptive organizations that put people first. Learn about fostering team relationships with Judy Ho and how to unlock the power of networking to propel careers forward. Dive into how AI impacts attention, hiring, and workplace dynamics with Gloria Mark, Hilke Schulman, and Primo Orpilla, while Boston's Chief of Worker Empowerment, Trending In, outlines the city's blueprint for the future of work. To close the day, Joe and Ochapinti discusses the paradox of generative AI and its threat to economic security, and Sharon Burrow, in a fireside chat, explores innovative labor policies for the digital age. Join us on this transformative journey to rethink, redefine, and reshape the future of work for a more inclusive, resilient, and thriving global workforce.
Welcome back. So as you must have seen the great speakers that we have, I do want to call out a really important session that I would believe everyone should be attending. It is the networking session from 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. EST time zone. And I believe that that session is also equally important because you get to meet people in real time. You get to have some real conversations and build a strong career related network. So take on that opportunity and join us at that session as well. So as we move through the sessions, we are also live streaming this video on various social media platforms, and you can engage with us. You have a question, you can ask us. You have a question from the speakers, you can ask us on the social media platforms and use the hashtag WorkCongress24. With that, I do want to take a few moments to thank our sponsors. And the Worktimes is our sponsor for media. And we really appreciate all of their help in setting up all the media, the social media, all the marketing for us. And it is a great publication that is dedicated to exploring trends around work and workplace, transformative ideas, and and they have insights into the future of employment and commitment to promoting the evolution of work. I also want to thank, and this would be a remiss if I don't do this, our technology partner, Tao.ai. Tao is on a mission to help people, the next $1 billion people, achieve their career goals and in learning and development. And I want to take some time to thank them to help us provide all the services we do to our community today through a scalable platform that will help not just us, but also everyone around in trying to get to their career goals. So with that, I want to just share a quote that is very near and dear to me before we hand over to the first speaker in line. So this quote is by Maya Angelou. It says, "Do the best you can until you know better. And then when you know better, do better." And this conference is our collective opportunity to know better so that we can start doing better.